Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 46, Trip to Kashi and Gaya, narration of the birth of goats. But before that, let us do the Namasmaran followed by chapter number 46, and then we will conclude by doing the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम श्री साई नाथाय नमः। 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 Chapter number 46, Trip to Kashi and Gaya, narration of the birth of goats. I bow down to Sri Ganesh, I bow down to Sri Saraswati, I bow down to the Guru, I bow down to the family deity, I bow down to Sri Sita Ramachandra, I bow down to Sri Satguru Sainath. Blessed are your feet, Sri Sai, blessed is your remembrance, and blessed is your darshan, which frees us from the bond of karma. Through your corporal form is invisible to us at present, yet, if there is faith and devotion, the devotees get live experiences. The spirit in the samadhi is awakened and becomes instantaneously visible. By an invisible and subtle thread, you draw your devotees from far and near. You bring them and keep them at your feet, and embrace them and hug them close to your heart, like a mother does to a child. You nurture them easily. No one knows where you are, but you so skillfully pull the threads, and ultimately they realize that you are behind the devotees to help and support them. The intelligent, wise, and learned get entangled in the web of the world due to their egoism, but the poor, simple, and devout are indulged by you with your power, inwardly and invisibly. You play all the games, but you show the flag of detachment. You do the things and pose yourself as a non doer. Nobody ever knows your way. Therefore, let us surrender body, speech, and mind at your feet and always chant your name, destroying our sins. You fulfill desires of the desirous, and to the detached give the bliss of your abode. Chanting your sweet name is the easiest sadhana for your devotees. By that, the sins will be destroyed, passion and ignorance will be undoubtedly wiped out. Goodness will be gradually arised, and after that, the store of merits will increase. Once righteousness is awakened, dispassion will follow quickly. The sense pleasures those lose their hold, and self knowledge manifests immediately. Knowledge is reached due to discrimination. Then we abide in ourselves and become humble. Knowledge, and this is what is called as complete surrender. The and only sure sign The one and only sure sign of surrender at Sai's feet is that the disciple becomes calm and peaceful and perfects his devotion with eagerness and joy. Loving devotion to the Guru is like a sacred law. I am that is the essence of knowledge. Dislike for the sense pleasure is the supreme dispassion. Aversion for the conditioned existence becomes at that stage. Blessed is the greatness of such devotion, which is performed with singular faith and devotedness, for peace, detachment, and repute invariably follow that, as they are always in its power. What can be the lack who has such devotion for the Guru? He will have whatever he desires without effort. Union with God comes in the wake of such devotion. As a slave given, salvation is not in doubt, and holy places long to touch such feet. In the earlier chapter, Dikshit reading of the Bhagavad was narrated. Also, the devotion of the nine yogis was prescribed, and how the darshan was given at Sai's feet. Sai devotee Anandrao Pakhade described the marvelous dream he had and the glory of devotion to Sai. Whoever Sai takes under protection, Sri Sai abides always with him day and night, whether he is at home or continents away. Wherever the devotees go, in each and every place, he finds Sai has preceded him and gives them darshan unexpectedly. I am going to narrate a wonderful novel story for you listeners, and you will be amazed by hearing it. It will give you great pleasure. Listening to the words of Sai, this story will make even the happiness of a samadhi pale into significance. The virtuous devotee will be filled with self bliss. Listening to this sweet story, where there is marvel at every step, will make the listeners forget themselves, and they will be greatly overcome by emotion. The sacred thread ceremony of the eldest son of Kaka Sahib Dikshit was fixed for a performance at Nagpur. The, the eldest son of Nana Sahib Chandorkar also had a function for which it would be necessary to go to Gwalior. Nana felt that there should be no delay on account of Kaka after the thread ceremony was over to go to Gwalior for the wedding. He wanted Kaka to come from Nagpur to Gwalior without any stress. Therefore, he fixed an auspicious time that is suitable to both. Then Nana, the foremost devotees, with eagerness came to Shirdi for Sai's darshan to invite him for the function. Kaka Sahib was already there. Nana went to the masjid to invite Baba with folded hands. Then Baba said, "Good, take Shama with you." 2 days later, Kaka invited Baba for the thread ceremony. Baba told him also the same thing, "Take Shama with you." But Kaka Sahib earnestly begged for Baba to come himself. Thereupon, he promptly replied, "After doing Kashi Praya quickly, I will be ahead of Shama. How much time does it take for me to arrive?" Now, listeners, mark these words to understand the true meaning, for they show Baba's all pervasiveness. Be that as it may, after lunch, Madhavrao began to think that once he had reached Gwalior, Kashi would not be far away from there. He borrowed 100 rupees from Nandram for his travelling expenses. Then he went to ask Baba's permission to leave and asked him with great reverence, "Since I am going to Gwalior for these ceremonies, I feel that it would proper take an opportunity incidentally to go to Kashi and Gaya. Therefore, Lord, I touch your feet and ask if I can visit Kashi and Gaya." Baba happily gave permission for Madhavrao to go. Moreover, he said to him, "Why do you ask redundant questions? Whatever happens is a natural course, should definitely not be missed." So be it. On receiving the permission, Madhavrao engaged a vehicle and left for Kopargaon. Then he met Appa Kote. Appa Kote was going to Chandwad to bring his granddaughter. When he heard about the proposed idea of going to Kashi, he jumped out of his tonga. Though he did not have any money to go to Kashi, he did not want to give up the company of a person like Madhavrao. Madhavrao encouraged him to go so that there was nothing to prevent Appakote. He got into the vehicle happily and taking advantage of the situation. Appakote Patil was a well-to-do, but he did not have any money for the travel. Therefore, he dreadfully feared he would miss the pilgrimage to Kashi. When the time was favorable, one should seize the opportunity. Appa felt that he should definitely have the company of Madhavrao. As it was, knowing his predicament, Madhavrao gave him timely encouragement and took him to Kashi and fulfilled his wishes. They went forward to Nagpur to attend the thread ceremony where Kaka Sahib gave 200 rupees to Madhav Rao and fulfilled his wishes. They went forward to Nagpur to attend the thread ceremony, and from there they went to Gwalior. Nana Sahib gave 200 rupees to Madhav Rao at that time. Shrimad Jatar, a relative, the father-in-law of his child, also gave 100 rupees. Thus Nana showed his affection on his guru. Jathar was the owner of a beautiful gem encrusted temple of Lakshmi Narayan at Mangal Ghat of Kashi. He also had a beautiful Sri Ram temple at Ayodhya. He entrusted his manager with the task of welcoming these guests at both places. From Gwalior, they went to Mathura, accompanied by Oze Inamdar of Alapsa. Vinniwale, brother-in-law of Nana, and Pendarkar, son-in-law. These three returned from there. Madhavrao and Kote went from there to Prayag and entered Ayodhya in the time of Ram Navami festival. They stayed there for 21 days and spent 2 months in Kashi, during which time the eclipse of the moon and the sun took place. Then both of them left for Gaya. While they were both in the train, they heard of a plague in Gaya, and that every nook and corner of the people were worried. By the time the train arrived at the station, it was already night. So both of them comfortably rested at a dharamshala there. So be it. The Gayawala came to meet them early in the morning. He said, "Hurry up, the pilgrimage has already started." Madhav Rao was disturbed in his mind and asked in a low voice, "We are coming, but has the plague and has the plague epidemic affected your locality?" Then he replied to them, "Come and see for yourself. There is nothing of that kind here. Come with to me without fear or doubts." Enough. Then they both went to the residence of Gayawal, seeing his large and palatial house. They were pleased. There was another reason for their happiness, because where they had sat down, they saw a portrait of Baba in front of them. Madhav Rao was choked with emotion. It was beyond their expectation to have a vision of Sai's portrait in a place as far away as Gaya. Madhav Rao was deeply moved and his eyes were filled with tears. "Why have you started crying?" asked the Gayawal. As Madhavra was crying without apparent reason, Gayawal was full of doubts and disturbed, and believing that Madhavra was worried about the plague in Gaya and how the pilgrimage would be affected. "I have already told you that there is no plague there. Yet you are worried. I am surprised. If you do not trust me, why do you ask all these orders? Not even a hair on your head will be harmed. Why are you crying? Observe the pilgrimage is who is crying all the time without a reason." He was shocked by the plague epidemic and lost courage. Therefore, Madhav Rao tried to explain to Gayawal what was in his mind. "How has my Molly came ahead of me? After going to Kashi and Praya quickly, I will be heard of Shama," were Baba's earlier words. Here was the proof in the form of a portrait. Seeing Baba's portrait in front of him, as soon as he entered the house, he felt a great miracle on noting this unexpected circumstance. He was choked with emotion and love. His eyes were filled with tears of joy. His whole body was horripilating and he was profusely sweating. This condition of Madhav Rao had an adverse effect on Kayawal's mind. He truly felt that he was crying because of the fear of plague. Chamas then said out of curiosity and asked the Gayawal, "Tell us in detail, how did you obtain this picture?" Later, Gayawal began to narrate the full circumstances that had happened 12 years back to Madhavrao. "It is a miracle. Listen to it." The Gayawal employed not one but 200 to 300 agents to note down the details of the pilgrims at Manmad and Putambe. Looking after the comfort of the pilgrims was Kayawal's business. When he was engaged in his work, Kayawal once went to Shirdi. He heard that Sai Samartha was a great saint. he decided to have his darshan and be purified. He took Sai Baba's darshan and prostrated at his feet. There arose a desire in him to have a picture of Baba. Madhav Rao had a portrait hanging in his wall, which the Gayawal asked for and was given with Baba's permission. He recollected that it was his own picture and this was the same Gayawal. How did Baba send me here and make me meet him after a long time? Was his thought, considering the fact that it had happened 12 years ago. How and why would it be remembered? He had not thought of it again, but Baba's Leela was unfathomable. He had sent Shama there only, and there only he had given his darshan. Gayawal also was very pleased. Shama had then recalled that this was the same picture given from his home to the same Gayawal after taking Baba's permission. The Gayawal remembered and that he had earlier stayed with Shama after arriving from Shirdi. It also was he who had helped him have a Baba's darshan. There was no end to their joy, remembering their mutual obligations. He looked after Shama with utmost care, providing all conveniences at Gaya. How opulent was his home, at the door of which swayed elephants. He sat in a palanquin and made Shama ride an elephant. Taking all these essentials for worship, they joyously went to Vishnupad. They gave a ritual bath to the deity and offered pind as per the prescribed procedure. Later, the Brahmins was gratified and food was given. After the offering of Naivedya, the pilgrimage was happily concluded with Baba's grace. The essence of the whole story is that Baba's words are significant, that can be experienced word to word. His love for his devotees was immense. It was not only love for his devotees, but he treated all creatures alike. He was supreme one and he had excessive liking for them. Sometimes on his way back from Lendi to the masjid, when he was casually walking, he met a flock of goats. Baba was filled with joy, casting a benignant glance on the whole flock. He would sometimes pick one or two goats and set them aside. Baba would immediately give whatever price was asked for them by the owner. Then he would keep them at Kondaji's. This was Baba's habit. On the occasion, Baba purchased two goats paying 32 rupees. Everyone was amazed. As soon as he saw these two, a sudden love sprang for them. Went near them and patted them on their back. Seeing both of them born as animals, Sai Samartha felt compassion for them. Finding them in such a state, he was full of pity and a sudden outburst of love, taking them near him. Sai lovingly fondled them. All the devotees were surprised seeing Baba's fondness for them. Sai recalled their immense greediness in their previous lives. Sai felt love for them seeing their present animal birth. Incomparable pity arose for them. When the price could have been 2 rupees or more 3 or 4, Baba had given 16. This was beyond understanding. Tatya was amazed by it. The price was asked and the bargain sealed. Seeing this with their own eyes, Madhav Rao, along with Tatya, scoffed at Baba's behavior. Why did he give 16 rupees for goods worth 2 rupees? Did Baba not have value for money, or is it that he acted as per his will? Even this argument was not tenable. Both were greatly fuming and fretting. Why did Baba conclude such a bargain? Both of them blamed Baba. What kind of a bargain was this? How was Baba so deceived? All the people gathered there to see this. Baba remained calm as if nothing was lost. Though both of them thus were angry and blamed Baba, he was not at all moved. He remained unmoved and peacefully at bliss. Then, with respect and humility, both of them asked Baba, what kind of a generosity is this? 32 rupees have been wasted. It was only question of money. Sai smiled when he heard it and thought, how should I convince these mad people? But Baba's composure was remarkable. Not a jot of his firmness was shaken. This was the sign of ultimate peace. All the people were surprised. How could foolishness ever touch the one who had not even a trace of anger, experiences supreme peace, and sees God in all creatures? One who is competent of correct judgment does not permit anger to approach. If by chance it happens, the treasure of peace is unlocked. How can I describe the greatness of him whose constant thought is Allah Malik? How life was deep, unfathomable, and pure and beneficial. He who was the womb of knowledge, the treasure of discrimination, ocean of self bliss, and whose intellect was flowing with mercy, Christ purified spoke thus. Listen to it. Seeing the persistence of both, Baba decided to explain. When I do not have a place to sit or a home, why should I accumulate money? Further, he said, go to the shop first and bring lentils after purchasing them. Give one share of it to their heart's satisfaction. Then give them back to the herdsmen according to the instructions. They immediately gave lentils to the goats to eat. Then, without losing any time, they were returned to the flock. This Sai avatar is clearly the embodiment of benevolence. What could Tatya, Shama, or anyone else suggest to him in a way of noble thoughts? After feeding them lentils with great love and observing that they were satisfied, he began to ask them to be taken to the owner so that they could rest with the herd. Thus, the money was spent and the goats returned. It was loss-making transaction. Then Saibaba told an unusual story of their past birth. Baba loved both Tatya and Shama alike. To cool their anger, he told a charming story. Sai, on his own, narrated the story of the previous births of the goats. Listen us hear this also. They were fortunate in their past lives. They were human beings then and stayed near me. They had to bear the fruits of their actions. These that you see as goats were brothers in their past life. They came to an end because of their infighting. This brought such result. At first, there was love between the brothers. They usually ate and slept together and were concerned about each other's welfare. There was great unity between them. Though they were real brothers, they had greed for money, which brought enmity between them because of their own deeds and fate coming together, which brought immense suffering. The older brother was lazy, the younger brother was industrious, which helped to accumulate wealth. The elder brother was filled with envy. The elder, because of his greed and money, nursed the wrong thoughts of removing the thorn from his path so that he would not lack money. Greed for money became an obstacle and he was blinded by it. Despite having eyes, he totally forgot the brotherly love and became ready to kill him. It is extremely difficult to fight destiny. Enmity arose without cause. They came to know each other's duplicity and greed could not be controlled. Their span of life ended. They totally forgot brother love. They were agitated by offensive pride. They fought like enemies. One injured the head of the other with a big stick and he fell down. The other, with the help of an axe, likewise hit his brother. Then both of them fell unconscious, shattered in a pool of blood. After a little while, they were without breath and both died. Thus came to an end. They were born in this form of life. Such is their story, of which I reminded in detail when I saw them. To undergo the effects of past actions, they were reborn as goats. Seeing them unexpectedly in the herd, I was overcome with love. Therefore, spending money from my own pocket, I thought of giving them refuge. You became the instrument by which their past actions stood in the way. I finally felt compassion towards the goats, but because of your insistence, I also agreed finally to return them to the herdsmen. Be it so. The story ends here. Listeners, forgive me. Later on, listen to the next chapter. You will be happy. That is also full of supreme love. It is also nectar from Sai's lips. Hemad humbles himself at Sai's feet and requests the listeners. May there be well being. This is the end of the 46th chapter of SHRI SAI Satcharithra, written by the devotee Hemat Pant, impelled by saints and virtuous people, called Trip to Kashi and Gaya, narration of the birth of goats. This is offered to Sri Satguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Om Sai Ram. Now, let us do the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. शिर्डी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रामावर बाबा रामावर साई बाबा रामावर शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्रभागा भाव पुंडलिकाचा पुंडलिका जागा भाव पुंडलिका जागा याव याव अवके जन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन गणो बने बाबा साई धाव पाव माझे आई पाव माझे आई धाव पाव माझे आई गणेलो तांगण वने गचरण तोयाचे पायन रूप तुझे प्रेमीन रंगीन अनंत पूजिम भवेव इन बने नमा त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु सदा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या दैरङ्गमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव अयनुमाचापसनिर्म मुद्याकनावापतन स्वभाव नरोमि यद्यं सकलन्तरस्मै नारायण इति समर्पयामि अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारिणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरि ईदवं माधवं गोपिका वल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Om Sai Ram. I urge all the listeners to read one chapter of the Sai Satcharithra every day and soak in Baba bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.